So in today's video, I'm looking at a video from a channel which is super tiny and essentially non-existent. What I mean by that is that this video is 6 years old. She only ever did 4 videos, only ever had 143 subscribers. So the channel is essentially defunct. But I thought I liked what she was saying. So I thought I'd do a quick reaction to her video where she says Australians are nicer than Americans, and this is coming from an American perspective.
Hey everyone, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing a video on the differences between America and Australia. Let's get into the video. I was just there for the last 5 months. I've been back for about a week and a half now, and there's a lot of different things that I noticed. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed was the toilets. This is like a random thing to start off on, but instead of having like a flusher, is that what you call it? Like the metal thing, you know what I'm talking about. They just had 2 buttons, like circles. So one was for like more pressure and one was for lighter pressure. Weirdest thing. I have no idea which one I was supposed to press, so I pick and choose every time and hope I got it right. And most of the time I didn't. But you know, I never learned. So what are you gonna do?
Okay, I get that she's young and all that, and I get that she's in a different country and she's come across something she's not encountered before. But first of all, to me that looks pretty self-explanatory. One has a half on it, one has a full on it. Half flush, full flush. You've got a 50% chance of getting it right. And you only do 2 things in the toilet. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. If you're really that stumped, why not ask an Australian? I just find it very amusing that she was there for 5 months and she still couldn't figure out the difference between a half flush and a full flush.
The next difference.
Okay, I get it. Once again, she's young, she's inexperienced, and she only made 4 videos on this entire channel. But, you know, if you're going to make a video and you have a big gap where you're not sure what you're doing, that's actually where you edit it out. If I didn't edit my videos, they would be probably 4 times as long from where I have brain farts and forget what it is I'm going to say. So, yeah, good one. Although it was kind of amusing. And I do apologise to this young lady for me adding the circus music in the background, but it just seemed to fit.
The next difference is I noticed, at least where I was, their beaches and like public transportation and just the city in general was a lot cleaner than our cities. I mean, I was on the Gold Coast, which is also a very touristy area, so obviously it's going to be nicer than some of the other cities, maybe like Sydney and stuff. But what I noticed was it was a lot nicer, and I'm just thinking in New York City that always smells like piss. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. I literally don't mean that offensively in any way, but you know it's true if you've been there.
Well, I'm glad that our beaches don't compare with New York City, which apparently doesn't smell so good. I've noticed that it seems like every American hates New York, aside from New Yorkers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I was only listening the other day to another channel, and this was another American channel, and she was talking about people from California and the way they lift their voice at the end of every sentence. So I'm wondering if this girl is from California, because the way that Tonya described raising your voice at the end of every sentence is exactly what this girl seems to be doing. But yeah, I think she's struggling a bit in terms of how to make comparisons, because comparing our beaches and saying, well, they're so much nicer than New York City, that's like saying, well, apples are so much greener than oranges.
The third thing that I noticed that was a huge one is people there are so much nicer. Yeah, don't get offended by this. I'm an American. I love my fellow Americans, but Australians were just generally kinder, more laid back. If you looked lost, they would literally stop and be like, hey, do you know where you're going? Are you okay? They're just so much nicer. I mean, you can disagree with me if you're an Australian and you think that differently or you think differently. You can disagree, but
Well, obviously, I haven't travelled the world, so I'm not exactly an authority, but I agree with it. Australians are pretty laid back and friendly. And it's one thing that keeps repeatedly coming out by people who've come to Australia. They remark on the fact that we will stop and offer to help people if they look a bit lost. And that's just kind of like normal. So does that not happen in other countries? It must happen in some other countries, surely.
just from my perspective, people were a lot nicer, a lot more calm. It wasn't always go, 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 like you need to get this done, like blah, blah, blah. It was a lot calmer. People seemed nicer. And I was a lot less stressed there than I am here, that's for sure.
And right there is one of the reasons that Australians actually have a longer life expectancy than Americans. Aside from their not so healthy diets, we do have a much more relaxed way of living, which is definitely a good thing.
Number 4. So there's no tipping there. So everything is more expensive. Reasons why I'm now broke. Please give me money. Here's my Venmo. But anyways, everything there was a lot more expensive because there's no tipping and stuff. But in general, a lot of things were more expensive. Like haircuts, nails, eyebrows, all that stuff I didn't get done there because it was just ridiculously expensive compared to the United States.
My guess is that she stayed at the really touristy part of the Gold Coast while she was there. I know a lot of people do comment on it being more expensive in Australia as opposed to America, but you don't tip, for starters, which she did say, which is a good thing. She recognised that. But it is also about where you go. So if you go to Sydney, you go to the Gold Coast, it probably is going to be more expensive than what you're used to in America. But, you know, let's call a spade a spade. Other areas aren't quite as expensive. I think it's interesting that she was talking about things like getting nails done and getting her hair done being far more expensive in Australia. I think that once again comes down to the whole minimum wage thing. And I think, you know, we're talking about jobs that are not professional jobs, as in, you know, teaching, lawyers, etc. So there probably is a major disparity in wages between hairdressers in the United States and hairdressers in Australia, and nail technicians in Australia and nail technicians in the United States. It's just kind of expected here that you do pay quite a bit for those kind of beauty services, and part of that is because they are paid a decent wage. I was going to comment on YouTubers whose dogs and cats interrupt their videos, but that said, my chihuahua isn't snoring for the first time in days.
She literally is running around with my Nikes. What was I talking? Oh, price. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot more expensive there than it is here. So your girl's broke. Call at me. The last and final thing I'm going to talk about, the stoplights, like, you know, crosswalks. So there, when you press it, it makes a different sound. So it kind of like blinks, 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 blinks. And then when you go, it makes this like weird like kind of like a beep. Not really. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's weird. It's different than it is in the US, and it took getting used to. When I first heard it, I was like, what the heck? But yeah, that was the overall differences.
Now, if you were someone in America, you would have no concept of what she is talking about whatsoever. So for anyone who's not from Australia and is wondering what the heck she's talking about, this is it. So in other videos, they've essentially said that they don't have anything like that in the United States. From her, she's a little bit confusing, so I'm not sure if she's saying that they have ones that make sounds but they make different sounds, or whether she actually does mean that their crossword walks, as she calls them, don't make sounds at all. So if you've been to America, or if you're actually someone who lives in America, can you just fill me in? I'm curious. I believe this is an Australian invention. So I'm curious to know what other countries have these.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave video requests down below. Hi, Bo. Mwah. And I hope to be making more videos in the future. So, peace, guys.
How cute was that dog just coming in, saying hello, and then going again? Now, it was a very short video, and I don't think she's really introduced anything that we haven't already looked at on here on this channel. But I just thought she had a real energy to her that was kind of entertaining. I think had she pursued making YouTube videos, I think she could have actually been quite successful. She kind of had the beginnings of what could have been a good channel. Just a few little things that needed tweaking, but other than that, I think, you know, long term, had she persevered, she probably would have got lots of views, lots of subscribers, and yeah, could have built up quite a following. But, you know, that's the way it goes. When you first start YouTube, it seems like nobody watches your videos, and it can feel disheartening at first because you put work into a video and it doesn't get seen. But, you know, it's about persevering, and eventually you start getting people seeing your videos, and then you slowly start to build your channel. But that first part feels like an eternity, when it feels like you're making videos for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, please hit the like button, and just to get these videos out into the algorithm and seen by more, leave a comment below. Well, leave a comment below anyway, because I love reading people's comments, and I love responding to people's comments. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.